Well, I've been purchasing stuff again, so I thought I'd make a quick update. Um, last 2 weeks ago Friday, I hit Salvation Army and picked up a couple computers. They're both Dells. This one has 256 megs of DDR RAM. It's got a 30 gig IDE, 1.44 floppy drive, a modem. It's a Pentium 4, 2 gigahertz, 400 front side bus, 48x CD reader. It's got a Windows 2000 professional serial number, but I don't use Windows 2000. The drive, it didn't come with a drive. I had a 30 gig drive that I threw in there. The case is kind of neat here. Basically, to open it, there's a button here on top and on the bottom, and you just press them and it'll open right up. I'll try to do this without holding the camera. There we go. And there's the inside. It's relatively clean inside. Like I said, I threw the hard drive in there and booted it up, and it runs fine. I'm planning on using this for my music computer possibly. This one my mother gave me, this white one here, and it's only an 800 megahertz, and it has a funny habit of rebooting itself right in the middle of when you're doing something, and I can't figure out why. I'm beginning to think maybe it's a memory issue or something. But anyway, this one I paid $4.99 for, which I think is a pretty good price. You probably wouldn't be able to buy the memory for that. And yeah, so there's that one. And the other one I got is this one. This is an Optiplex GX620. The other one is an Optiplex GX260, which is kind of funny. But this one has 1 gig of memory. It's two 512s. It's got 4 SATA ports. It's a DVD recorder and rewriter, 16x, a 144 floppy. It's a Pentium D, 2.8 gigahertz. And this one I paid $10 for, and it wouldn't do anything when I got it. This one pops right open with this handle here. It'll open the side right up. This one also was very clean inside. Paid $10 for it, and it wouldn't do anything. So I went online. This one did not have a hard drive. Or no, wait, this one did have a hard drive, a SATA drive. I don't believe there's anything on it. It won't boot from the drive, and I can't see what's on there because if you look back here on the ports, notice anything missing? There's no keyboard or mouse ports. Everything is USB. And I don't have a USB keyboard. I have a USB mouse that I could throw in there, but I don't have a USB keyboard. It also has this funny looking video card. It has a standard VGA port here, but it has a funny looking video card there that's an add-on. And this one wouldn't boot at all. It wouldn't do anything. It wouldn't power up, nothing. And there's a little yellow light down here that says auxiliary power. That would flicker. That's the only thing that would do. So I went online, and they said that they had some faulty caps on the motherboard. It's a Foxconn board. They had some faulty caps, and they would have funny issues with memory problems and other things. So I looked at those caps. They looked fine. And one of the hints was in this power connector here that goes to the motherboard, if you short ground, which is black, to the green one, and then press the power button, it should come on. That puts it like in a limp mode, and it did. It booted up. It started coming on. So then I suspected the power supply, which is original, I'm guessing, and I pulled that apart, and there were 2 bad caps in the power supply. So I changed those 2 capacitors, and now it boots right up fine. It gets through the BIOS test anyway. But it, like I said, it won't read off this drive. It says there's no operating system present. So I think I put a Windows disk in there and it will boot from the CD-ROM, but I don't have a keyboard, so I can't make any selections. So I got to get me a keyboard, but if I can get this one going, this will probably be my music computer, because it is a better computer and it's faster and it has more memory. Plus I really like the case. I think it's a sharp looking, looks like a server or something, sharp looking case. But so anyway, we got that. And this Wednesday I picked up this Yamaha P200 automatic turntable, semi-automatic turntable. I think I gave $12 for it. It needs a belt, which I've ordered, and the one hinge is messed up in the back, so the lid won't stay up. They have springs in there to help take the pressure off, and it's broken. So I have to see if I can fix that. But it's a semi-automatic, which means if you you place the tone arm over the record and press the cueing button, I'm not going to let it touch, the arm will go down so that you don't, scratch and get that horrible sound. And then it's semi-automatic in the fact that when the tone arm gets to the end of the record, it will go back to home and shut off. The motor starts when you take the tone arm over about the edge of an LP, and this button here, cut, if you press that, it'll stop playing in the middle of the record, and then it's got the speed here, 33 and 45. But it's in really nice shape. There's only a few real minor scuffs in the cover, and the motor runs. The turntable actually is very weighted, and it'll spin. It spins a long time. The bearings are very good in there. So I'm kind of excited to see how this will play some of the LPs that I bought from Salvation Army over the past year or so. And it seems to have a decent stylus in it. The needle feels good. I haven't tested it, obviously, with no motor, no belt, so it won't run. But anyway, I thought that was a pretty good deal for $12, and the belt I think cost me $9 or $10. And that should be here early next week, so I will make a test of that, and if I repair the hinge. So, hi, you want to be on the movie too? You're too close. You want to be on the movie too? Alright. So anyway, we'll probably make a operations video next week if the belt comes in, and so you can see this again then. And today I picked up this Weller soldering iron kit for $3. It was $2.99. I plugged it in, of course, and it started heating up. It's the kit minus the kit. All it is the iron and the little aluminum stand. I don't even really care about the stand. I have a nice spring stand to put it in, but I needed a good small wattage iron. The other small wattage iron I have doesn't seem to work good anymore. You can't get tips for it, and I made a tip out of a brass screw, and that just doesn't work. But this has got a copper tip. This is a 25 watt. It is a Weller. It's a good one. I actually used it today to repair a speaker wire. So that was a pretty good buy for $3. And it is in the original box. Not that that really matters much, but so I picked that up today. And one more thing. I picked up this Panasonic audio timer, model TE972. It does work. I will plug it in here in a second. But it's in the original box, and it's got the original operating instructions, which of course is in about 15 different languages. But basically what it looks like to me is it's like a clock radio. It'll turn your stereo into a clock radio, or anything you plug in there, a light or anything. But it was designed to turn your stereo on, and you can set the time on, time off, and it has a sleep function. You set the time here, and then it's got a relay in there. I'll turn it around and look at the back of it. This has got two receptacles, and this sets your voltage. It'll work on let's see, 120, 240, and 220. But of course it has a 120 plug on it. They did make a model, I don't know if it's the same model number, that has a European plug here and probably on the male end as well. But this is the US model. And basically if you set this on auto, which is in the center, then when it gets set to the preset time, when that time happens, it turns on whatever's plugged into that outlet. So theoretically you could plug anything you want in there, coffee pot or anything. I think it's 5 amps, I think is what it's rated at. Let's see. It doesn't, power capacity 600 watts. So anything that's 600 watts or less you can run on it. It is synchronized by the power company. You can run it on 50 Hertz or 60 Hertz depending on where this switch is right here. Now this says power capacity 5 amps right here. So 600 watts or 5 amps. And of course you can put the switch in manual off, which turns off whatever's on there, and manual on, which turns the relay on. Now I'll get it plugged in here and I'll show you what it looks like. Alrighty, I've got it plugged in and powered up, and I've got the time set correctly. Got the second blinking down here by the end of the minute, and it's military only time, and it's set to present time. Now when you turn this to manual on, you'll hear the relay click, and this light comes on right here, which means that the outlet is on. This little light right here. And a couple neat things I figured out without even messing with the book. You turn this knob to counter, and it's basically a stopwatch. So you press start and it'll count in seconds, and you can pause it and you can reset it, and then straight up all the way to the left is time set. That's counter, that's present time. And you can check the seconds and see how many seconds it is. It's 20, 32, and 15, 16, 17 seconds. This is on set. So we're at 2032, and so we'll set it for 2034. So you just hold this, and that's fast. Okay, now we're going to go with slow. Set it for 2034. We'll set the off time too, if I can get it done before it times out. Okay, I've got it set for on at 2035, off at 2036. Okay, so right now it's at 2034 and 45 seconds. So it should be coming on in about 10 seconds and then going off a minute later. Okay, there it's come on. And now we will wait for it to come out, to turn back off. But I'm not really going to worry about that because it works. Okay, so another cool function it's got is the sleep, which is the last function. So you could have your stereo plugged in here and you press the time and it'll come on, and now that's 1 hour and 43 minutes, and you could set this for, we'll set it for 1 minute, and it'll run in the sleep mode. So your radio would be playing for a minute as you drift off to sleep, listening to your favorite tunes, and then when that counter gets down to 0, it will turn your radio off. So it's a pretty neat unit. I paid $8 for it, $7.99. Of course I plugged it in to make sure that it did at least power up, and I turned this and it did function. So I got the book and everything. Kind of neat. I really don't know why I bought it, just because I thought it was kind of neat. I'd never seen anything like it, and I kind of assumed that maybe I could use it for something else. Pretty much anything you want to turn on and off, Christmas lights, anything, really. It'll turn them on and turn them off just by plugging it in. So there's no battery backup though, which is a shame, but it only draws 5 watts to run, so that's not too bad. So anyway, those are the things that I've picked up lately, and I'll go over here to my wood stove project. I have this pretty much finished. I did wire the light in here, and this switch runs a floodlight on the outside corner of the house so I can see to come around outdoors. I did rework the doors. That one is now permanently attached and siliconed to seal against moisture and wind and heat. This one opens but is now hinged in the center, and there's 2 hook eyes on the outside that hold it shut out there and keep it in tight, and then I put a bolt in here so that somebody couldn't open that and come into the house. These I've just added. It's not finished yet. I gotta put a couple more spacers and screws, but the heat from this, when I burn the pine, I cut down a bunch of pine trees a couple years ago, and it burns really hot really fast, but it does put out quite a bit of heat, and this gets pretty warm, and I never had a problem with it or worried about it when it was out, but now that it's touched up against the side of the house, I don't want anything to happen to cause it a fire. So I put these on here with like a 1-inch space behind it. It actually keeps this a lot cooler. And I put one up here too, but that one needs another screw to hold the corner up here, but of course there's one over here. And then get my flashlight here. I've put this blower onto the back of the stove and made this little plenum box and sealed that to the back of the stove. That's the air inlet. And then I've hooked a piece of 4-inch PVC to the blower and caulked that as well. And that's a little damper that I made right there in the center, just out of a piece of galvanized tin, the same stuff that I used to make the little air box there. And then that goes outside, and there's a 90 on it, and a plastic grate to keep mice and bigger bugs and stuff out. And basically you can plug that in to get the fire going if you need to, and you can regulate the air with the damper here. It's closed right now, but there's enough gap around it that it's just about right to keep it running where I like to run it. It's a little bit cool right now, but I just put some more wood in. It's just at the bare minimum. It should be just a little bit hotter to keep the creosote level down, but she's running good. It's nice and warm, and I don't have to worry about sparks or anything coming out here on the floor, because I don't open this front door to load it, because a lot of stuff always comes out, and actually I knocked it over when I was trying to lift it up in here with the tractor and broke the handle off anyway. So I just load it with through the top. This is just a bucket with some water in it, pot with some water, and I put this spring handle on there last year so that you can open this without having to wear gloves. And I just put the wood right in the top so no sparks or anything ever come out. So it actually works really good, and it's nice and warm in the house, and I really like wood heat. So anyway, that's where we're at. So as always, thanks for watching, and time is ticking away.